Hello, Nuggets. It's your favorite TT from Divine Me 1111 Spiritual Guidance. I hope you all are doing well. If you need to get in contact with me for a personal, that information is down in the description box. Please follow me on Facebook, IG, and Twitter, and also like, share, and subscribe. The subscriptions mean a lot. The likes and comments mean a lot. Thank you so much. We're gonna get into a TT talks really quick, and um, I am really just in a space of being over this subject and over this topic, but we go through it to get through it and to learn from it. So this is what we're doing. Um, I do want to say that this one was um, sparked by recent events, but also um, yesterday I came across um, a spiritual teacher on YouTube by the name of her channel is called Can Be the Light, but the message that I got was from her other channel, You Be the Light. So take that how it goes, and just go find her, because I'm telling you, she's really, she's dropping some jewels. Um, and she was actually talking about people leaving the spiritual, tarot community and going back to the church. So, and I was like, yeah, that's been happening a lot. I've seen on the in the community, and hey, to each his own. I, as Candace said, I never left the church. I've always kept Christ in my heart, and I don't attend a church per se, but I know where my heart is. So I've been, you know, most of us raised, in the church, and all of that, and it's not bad, because the thing is that's your foundation. You use that kind of teaching to grow yourself, and I believe that that's what I've done, is taken what I've learned from, learned of the basics of spirituality, and discern for myself how to apply that to my life and how that's applied in my life. So yeah, I needed to turn that down. It was a little loud for me. I have always felt drawn to, um, not necessarily the esoteric, but I've always been drawn to the phenomenon, I suppose, of zodiac signs, and um, how people are have basically the same traits when it comes to their zodiac sign, but still having their own personalities with that. Because I've 100% seen that mean that you can't, blame a whole, zodiac sign for one person's actions and stuff like that. And so I just had to sit with that and come to the understanding of that. Now, for me personally, there are certain zodiac signs that I know I don't mesh well with, and I've tried, and I'm not sure if it's just these, I'm sure it's probably just their my draw and attraction to them for teaching purposes, and understood and understandable, but there are still certain things that I see and I understand. So I'm just like, well, that's probably just best for me to not even do that. as far as, romantically, I suppose, and being in a relationship. Friends, we'll see. But anywho, let's get back to the point here. Um, and the what I'm really trying to get at here is um, understanding as empaths and light workers and ministers, pastors, teachers, whatever you want to call your, whatever title you want to give yourself. Um, Everybody's not going to be in alignment or in agreement with your path. And that is so something that I've had to come into the understanding of for myself, because I tried this way for myself a few years ago, quite a few years ago, probably like 20 years ago when I was in my 20s. And my need for acceptance and outside validation and to be a part and be included was so great that I swallowed that individuality and love for myself and growth for myself in order to be a part of the group, a part of the collective. And I at that time I didn't realize that I was betraying myself in doing so, because it was not authentic for me, but it was okay for everybody else in the outside world to, you know, basically shrinking myself so that I could be accepted and be, digestible, I suppose, for everybody else. And I'm trying very, very hard. I mean, we all walk this line of empath and narcissist, or not necessarily narcissists, but allowing our outside traumas, or inner traumas, not outside traumas, inner traumas to affect us in a way that we built up self-defense mechanisms and walls and things of that nature. So I try really, really hard to walk that fine line and balance how I go about this and go about things, because I'm in no way wanting to draw any kind of negativity. I'm very much an non-confrontational person, what have you. Now, here recently in the last couple of years, especially with all of the transitions of my foundational people transitioning into the spirit world, has made me have to be strong for myself. It made me have to be able to stand up to energies that were not necessarily stronger than mine. They appeared stronger because of their aggression and their conviction in whatever it is that they were saying or doing, but in looking at it, it was not necessarily them exuding their power. Was really them exuding their weakness, in that they had to be so defensive in whatever it is that they were believing, or whatnot. So this journey has not been easy for me, this coming into the understanding of my power and how I see things, and how I needed to change how I saw things and create boundaries and barriers for myself in order for me to feel safe and protected. I've looked back over, over my life and just seen in places and spaces where I've tried to grow and where I've tried to excel and expand myself in the world. Um, there, was always something that came in opposition of that, in opposition of my shine and my growth, because um, of the ways of the world, because you're ingrained and trained and taught from very young that anything that has anything to do with spirituality, um, especially, and for some reason I'm not 100% sure why this is a very big um, portion of American history, but it is, there are certain things that are 100% taught and ingrained so that that society does not accept this. um, and that is the thing, the Salem witch trials. What does that have to do with the building of America? That to me is another form of control of people, especially women. This had a lot to do with women who were um, independent and um, used herbs from the earth and didn't necessarily, have to have a man to do anything for them. And when she was strong and in her power, people didn't like that. That was, their ego telling them that what they were doing was right and what she was doing was wrong, because you know she turned him down or whatever. Those kinds of things. Not 100% sure why that is something that is ingrained. Yet, and still on the other side of that, when it comes to Halloween, um, it's okay to, dress up as a quote unquote witch. And the thing is I'm sure a lot of those women weren't as, quote unquote, warted and green skinned and ugly as um, as they were described to be or exaggerated to be. More than likely, I'm sure these women were beautiful, and they shine from, like a lot of us do, who are very strong and independent and headstrong. We shine from the inside out, and that again is a threat to other people's image of themselves. So yeah, that just kind of, everybody's not going to be on your team. Everybody doesn't, people want to see you, succeed, but they don't want to see you do better than they are doing, because then that means that they actually have to do work to um, put in the work to attain that level. So what they do is, energetic work for the most part. A lot of the times people won't say their grievances to your face. A lot of the times people won't uh, be upfront with you, because it's they want to still have the benefit of being in your energy and things of that nature. They still want to be able to benefit from your wisdom and your knowledge, but they don't necessarily want you to um, outgrow them. And that's been a really, really big thing for me throughout my life. And it's bothersome. It's bothersome. It's bothered me because I, you know, I'm trying my best, you all, not to, you know, blame and push, you know, fault on the outside of me, because I know that I have choices. It is up to me to do what it is that I am called to do and be strong within myself. But I also understand that um, when there is a really big call on you, things, beings, and entities do not want that light shown. Okay, so let's get into that. Whenever I am, you know, feeling something or anything, music comes to me. God drops a song in my spirit, and you know, we go from there. And the song that had been being dropped in my spirit when I was trying to move forward would be "God Blocked It" by Kurt Carr. And I'm like, okay, I'm really pushing and going forward and trying to do what it is that, you know, I believe is following my path. And then that song would drop into my spirit, and I'm like, okay, God, what are you saying? Why are you blocking me from um, putting this message out there, or, you know, just doing what it is that I choose to do to live my life? And it was not that I had to go and really listen to the song and listen to the lyrics and get the lyrics in my head. And it was, you sing songs in church and whatnot, and you don't really pay attention. That's another thing that we do. We do things absent-mindedly or automatically because it's just what we are supposed to do or what we've always done, and we don't really take in that message and that information. And so when I went back and listened to it, it really spoke to me as far as, yes, I'm on my path. Yes, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but there's always going to be, this, not necessarily the devil, but there's also always going to be this energy that's going to come in opposition of that, not just to hold me back, but to also test my faith. God has had my back on every turn, every instance, and I've grown within myself. Hold on, guys, sorry. Okay, so that meant I was supposed to not say that part, I'm sure, but we're gonna go forward. Um, just coming into the understanding that things, beings, and energies, entities will do what it is that they know to do to keep themselves comfortable. And if that means unknowingly, a lot of these things happen unknowingly, where people allow themselves to succumb to their lower nature, be possessed by the devil, whatever you want to call it, however you rationalize that. And it's again not to hurt or harm. I'm understanding it is people acting out of their lower nature because they don't want to change for themselves or expand or think a new thing, do a new thing. And it's been my journey here these last couple of years to grow to the point where I am strong within myself, and I'm not being not trapping myself in codependent situations. I have very much been in these situations and not really paid attention to it as codependency, I'm just thinking of it as, me helping, but feeding that need to be needed was slowing me down, and I didn't even realize it. It was me in my lower nature feeding off of the energy of other people needing me. And so now that I've come into the understanding of that for myself and started drawing boundaries, things are starting to come at me a different way. And it's no longer people of the outside world. It's people that are close to me. It's family. It's people that, you know, those people that you've grown up with. And I've also had to get myself together and come into the understanding that I too have not allowed people to grow and expand and do what it is that they do to, to be their fullest self. So, um, this scripture had come to me years ago. I want to say like 18 or 19, around, um, that beginning college stage maybe. Um, and it stuck with me, but me myself still being in that codependent energy, not truly listened to it and acted upon it because I needed to be needed. And it's a couple of scriptures actually. One is Genesis 12:1, where um, God told Abram, not Abraham. Um, he had not earned that name change yet. He told Abram to get away from his kinsmen and go to a land that he would show him. Well, God's been showing me the land that I'm supposed to go to for years, and at every turn, every time I've tried to, do things and get things together in order to make that happen, something comes and draws me back in. And again, it is that, okay, well, I'm needed, so I'll stay here and do this. And, my cycles had to start back over, and I've had to learn the lesson again. And it's just been very, very interesting how I'm like, God, okay, how do I do this? And I've finally gotten to the point where I've had to come to the understanding that it was not meant for me to do that at that time, but it was also being shown to me that it needed to happen. And what the thing that I had to do is take the responsibility for my actions of, hey, you didn't do these things because you chose not to do these things. You chose to keep yourself in a space that is comfortable because you got to feel needed. You need to feel needed. And the first time I moved away from home, I think I was like 19. I moved to Chicago with family. I moved to Chicago, and at that time, I believe I was needed in that space. But the thing that got me was my first nephew had been born, and I had spent his first couple of months in school, and I was just like, wow, I have a nephew now. I'm a TT. And when I got back home and, I started spending time with him, it just another reason to feel needed at home. So I did not go back to college. I did not go back, I didn't leave. I stayed at home. And, I believe in that whole it takes a village thing. But not allowing, things to happen and, family to grow and be their own unit. I injected myself into those kinds of things. And then, of course, helping my grandparents and just, being that my assumption of being the glue to hold everything together, but not really, because that wasn't my purpose. My purpose was to go and grow and become my own person. And when you're in your 20s, you think you're doing that. You think you are. And so I was doing that and, stopped myself from moving forward because, I wanted to be in that energy of, family is all we got. And, you want to be there and be that helper and, this the responsibility of the oldest child. Okay? And that's a whole other different kind of thing, and we'll talk about that some other time. Let me keep going because we are already at almost 30 minutes. The next scripture was that I got. I'm gonna go to a further one and then jump back, but this one is Romans 9:1, where Paul says that he wished that he was not so. I'm going to paraphrase. He was not so convicted in his belief in Christ for the sake of, his kinsmen, for the sake of his people that he loved and, his brethren, because his conviction to his devotion for his path, for his purpose, pulled him away from his family, pulled him away from the people that he loved, in that, he had to go out and teach. He felt like that was his calling. He was the one, Paul's the one to go out and teach far and wide. And he said that he wished that he didn't have that such a conviction, so that he could still be a part of his crew, his people, his family. Then we're going to go to the major one, the big one, the one that everybody, has memed and quoted to a different level of truth, but it's like, oh my gosh. But this is the rejection of Christ. And when I tell you, I'm not in any way comparing myself to Jesus. However, this is the energy that we're supposed to understand and take on. Jesus, was doing all these miracles and giving these parables and things for us to learn from and come into a higher level understanding of. But the people around him were like, isn't he so-and-so's son? Isn't he the son of the carpenter? Didn't Mary his mother? Who is he to come in and give us this, all these words? And so, and perform all these miracles. The thing is he was performing miracles and teaching in his own home of Nazareth, the people that he grew up around, the people that he grew up with. And they were like, okay, who are you? Because of, his outside, rather than taking in the spirit of the message that he was giving, the faith that he had within his connection with his father, in his faith in his connection with God and his purpose within himself. And I'm like, wow, okay. So if people rejected Christ, his own people that think they know who he is and what he's supposed to become, if he's rejected by those people, then his faith is is that incredible in God to go towards his calling, that he left his home. He left the place where he was raised in order to be the person that he was called to be. So this is, this to me is such an amazing revelation for those of us who have, been considered and called outcast, and the black sheep of the family and things of that nature. It's just an amazing revelation to me that the people around you will do what it is that is best for them to keep you where you are. But in the same instance, in the same breath, they will not do what it is to, one, help you to be on your path as well, but also will not do anything to help themselves to grow past where they are. They want you to do it. So in being on this journey, I've learned that it's okay to allow people to be responsible for themselves and not be the one to just come in and take over and, do it for them. When Jesus was blessing the man at the water, he said, the man said, I don't have anybody to put me in the water, and you've been laying here for years and you ain't tried to do nothing to help yourself? Nothing? You've been laying at this pool of water for years, and it's right here. And all you had to do was get up and do it. Yeah, it's okay to help people and be in the faith and favor of uplifting, but it is also up to us to, take responsibility for our own actions, take responsibility for our own life. And I've been doing that lately, and it has been such a I'm hearing burden, but it's not really to be a burden. It was there to teach me to be myself, to teach me and redirect me into the energy of understanding that I manifest everything that it is that I wish to see, and blocking out outside energy, outside influences, what other people think, and allowing them to be who they are, and be it in high vibration or low vibration. It's their responsibility to do what they need to do. I can do what I need to do by being an example. So everybody's not going to be on your path. Everybody's not going to be on your team. Even if you You've been the cheerleader for everyone, the protector for everyone. It's not always your job to jump in. Sometimes it's your job to just be the example of what it is to govern yourself accordingly for yourself. Okay? So, I think that is I think that's quite enough for this TT Talks. Empaths do understand that you are on your journey for this purpose, that you are absolutely 100% loved in the astrals, in the heavens, your spirit guides and your spirit team and your ascended masters, whoever you resonate with, is not here. It may not be shown in the physical, but there is evidence every day in the physical that shows you you're on the right path. Be that, you know, messages from birds and nature, and or a song that pops in your head, or a feeling of total peace within yourself, or signs and synchronicities through the numbers on the clock, or whatever. Those are your signs that God is with you. Those are your signs that you are loved, and your sign that you are following your purpose. The outside world does not have to validate what you feel, what you think about your spirituality. They have to get what they need for themselves. So, be you, do you to 10, and love you the way that you give your love. Love yourself the way that you wish to pour love on other people. Pour that love onto yourself. Fill your cup. Follow your path. Do what it is that you are being called to do. And then everything else just has to either fall away or fall into place. Okay? All right, I'm going to leave it there. Again, Nuggets, if you need to get in contact with me for a personal, that information is down in the description box. Go follow You Be the Light and Can Be the Light. Also, Miss Emmy Evolving, her as well. Those are two very strong ladies that I resonate with, especially when it comes to not just the tarot readings and the cards, but when it comes to teaching practical application of sovereignty. Okay? So, there's that. I love you. I love you all from my soul. Be at peace, and I send you all blessings and light. Take care.